Welcome everyone to this exciting and fascinating deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins where history, mistakes, and collector passion combine to turn an ordinary piece of currency into something worth an absolute fortune. And today we are going to explore the incredible story of the 1982 one-penny USA coin. A coin with a face value of just 1 cent but with a staggering potential worth of up to $0.89 million due to its remarkable and highly unusual characteristics, the minting, mistakes, errors, and other rare possibilities that make it stand out from billions of ordinary pennies produced in that era. And this journey will take us through the historical background of the coin, the technical details of its production, the unique variations from the US Mint in that year, and the reasons why such a small copper disc has managed to capture the attention of the numismatic community and fetch extraordinary prices in auctions and private sales. So to begin, we need to understand that 1982 was a transitional year for the United States penny because before that year, since 1909, the penny had been made primarily of copper with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, but due to rising copper prices in the late 1970s and early 1980s, the cost of producing each penny began to exceed its actual face value, prompting the US Mint to change the composition to a primarily zinc core with just a thin copper plating, weighing 2.5 grams instead of the previous 3.11 grams, and this change happened mid-year in 1982, meaning that two different metal compositions were in circulation for coins bearing the same date, and because of this transition there were also several different varieties produced, including coins with large date and small date designs, coins minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, proof versions, business strikes, and even error coins where the composition and date style mismatched in unusual and highly collectible ways, and this complex combination of factors created a breeding ground for rare varieties and mistakes that today can command astronomical values if found in pristine condition or with unique errors. So among the most famous 1982 penny varieties is the 1982 D small date copper penny, a coin that theoretically should not exist because by the time the small date design was used in Denver that year, the mint had already switched to the zinc composition, yet a very small number of copper-based small-date Denver pennies somehow escaped into circulation, and these coins are now considered holy grail finds in the penny world, with extremely few known to exist, some verified by professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and one such coin in immaculate uncirculated condition can easily attract offers approaching or exceeding hundreds of thousands of dollars, even into the realm of the $0.89 million figure when paired with other factors like mint errors, provenance, and market frenzy. And speaking of mint errors, 1982 pennies present a fascinating array of them, from off-center strikes where part of the design is missing due to misalignment of the planchette, to double-die obverse coins where the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile appears doubled due to a hubbing error, to wrong planchette strikes where a penny design was accidentally struck on a planchette intended for another denomination such as a dime or foreign coin blank, creating spectacularly rare pieces. And the 1982 penny era is particularly interesting because of the rush to change compositions mid-year, which likely led to more opportunities for mistakes to slip through undetected, and collectors today scour their change rolls of pennies from banks, estate collections, and even old jars in hopes of uncovering one of these valuable treasures. But the story does not stop there because condition is paramount in determining the value of any coin, and for a 1982 penny to reach the lofty figure of $0.89 million, it would need to be in top-tier condition, likely graded MS-68 or MS-69 by a professional service, meaning virtually no contact marks, perfect luster, sharp strike, and immaculate surfaces, and such perfection in a coin that has been in circulation for decades is nearly impossible, hence the astronomical premium attached when such a specimen appears. And when you combine that perfect condition with a dramatic error such as a rare date-style composition mismatch or a double strike in an unusual alignment, the desirability among elite collectors and wealthy investors skyrockets, often leading to fierce bidding wars in auctions hosted by prestigious firms. So while to most people a penny is simply a piece of small change, to those in the know, a single coin like this can represent not only a massive payday but also a piece of American history, a tangible artifact of a specific economic moment when the rising cost of metals forced a change in our coinage, and every detail from the font of the numbers in the date to the placement of the mint mark can tell a story and potentially reveal a fortune. And speaking of mint marks, another point of fascination with 1982 pennies lies in mint mark errors, which occur when the small letter D for Denver, or S for San Francisco, or the absence thereof for Philadelphia is either misplaced, doubled, filled in with metal due to die deterioration, or even punched in the wrong location entirely, and since 1982 was also the last year mint marks were hand-punched into dies before being incorporated into the master design. It's possible to find dramatic repunched mint marks or unusual placements, which further boosts a coin's rarity and value, and in extreme cases these mint mark anomalies combined with other errors can make a coin nearly unique, sending its value soaring into the high 6 or even 7 figures depending on collector demand. And although skeptics may question whether any penny can truly be worth such a fortune, history has shown repeatedly that when rarity, condition, demand, and storytelling converge, the numismatic market is capable of extraordinary valuations, and the 1982 one-penny USA coin is a perfect example of how a seemingly common object can become a prize beyond imagination. And so for anyone interested in potentially uncovering one of these treasures, it's important to know how to identify them, starting with weighing the coin on a precise scale to determine if it's copper or zinc, examining the date style for small or large numerals, inspecting the mint mark for anomalies, and checking for any unusual strike characteristics under magnification, and for those lucky enough to find one, having it authenticated and graded by a trusted service is essential to realizing its full potential. And whether you're a seasoned coin collector, a casual treasure hunter, or simply someone who enjoys a good story about hidden value, the saga of the 1982 penny is one that continues to inspire, fascinate, and remind us that sometimes the smallest things can carry the biggest surprises, and as more people become aware of these rarities, the competition to find them only grows, ensuring that the legend of the 1982 penny worth $0.89 million will endure for years to come, captivating future generations of collectors who will look back on our era as one where the humble cent could hold a value nearly 1,000,000 times greater than its face, and that extraordinary fact makes this coin a shining symbol of the magic, mystery, and marvel that the world of coin collecting has to offer. Where a seemingly ordinary piece of change can hold an extraordinary story and an even more extraordinary value, today we dive deep into the mystery, history, and hidden fortune behind the 1993 D1 penny USA coin, a coin that, despite having a face value of just 1 cent, has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike because of its mind-blowing value of up to $0.90 million due to the unique combination of errors, minting mistakes, and mint mark anomalies that make it one of the most sought-after modern rarities in American numismatics. And as we unfold this incredible narrative, you'll understand exactly why this humble copper-plated zinc penny is far from ordinary. Starting with the basics, the 1993 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a period when the US Mint was producing billions of pennies annually. The composition at the time was the standard 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating of 2.5%, replacing the mostly copper composition that had been used before 1982. But even in such high production numbers where precision and uniformity are expected, certain conditions in the minting process can give birth to coins with unique errors, and these errors are the reason why a coin can transition from being worth just 1 cent to nearly $1 million. One of the most notable issues that can happen to a penny like the 1993 D is a double die error, where the coin's design is struck more than once but slightly misaligned, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering or numbers, and if this doubling occurs on the date, motto, or Lincoln's profile, it can drastically increase collector interest and value. Then there's the possibility of off-center strikes, where the planchette, or blank coin disc, is not perfectly aligned under the dies during striking, leading to part of the design being missing or shifted, and the more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Some rare 1993 D pennies have been reported with as much as 50% of the design off-center, yet still showing a clear date and mint mark, a combination highly prized by collectors. In other cases, we see broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the collar that normally shapes its edge, causing the penny to spread out larger than normal in diameter. Another category of minting error involves die cracks or die breaks, where the die used to strike the coin develops a fracture, leaving raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the finished coin, sometimes forming what collectors call cuds if a piece of the die actually breaks away, and in rare cases, these cracks can occur in ways that create shapes or patterns that become legendary among enthusiasts. Imagine a crack across Lincoln's head that looks like a crown, instantly making the coin stand out. But perhaps one of the most intriguing errors related to the 1993 D penny's high value is tied to the mint mark itself, the D on the coin. represents the Denver Mint, but in some instances, mint marks have been punched incorrectly, repositioned, or even completely omitted. In earlier decades, mint marks were added to dies by hand, but by 1993, they were part of the master design. Still, errors can happen in the hubbing or striking process that result in weak, partial, or malformed mint marks, and when such anomalies are combined with other striking errors, the rarity multiplies exponentially. There's also the possibility of transitional errors, where a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different year or composition. For example, a leftover copper planchet from before 1982 mistakenly used in 1993 would yield a heavier, all-copper penny, which would be instantly recognizable to skilled collectors who weigh their coins, and such a discovery could be worth an astronomical sum, considering the limited nature of these mistakes. Even more fascinating is the role of proof-like strikes or uncirculated high-grade examples with errors, as condition plays a huge role in value. A flawed coin in worn condition might be worth hundreds or thousands, but the same coin in pristine, untouched, mint state condition can break into the hundreds of thousands or even approach that $0.90 million mark when bidding wars erupt between serious collectors, and this is exactly what has happened with some of the most famous rare modern pennies. The combination of scarcity, condition, and error variety drives demand into the stratosphere. The market for such coins is not only driven by dedicated numismatists but also by investors who see rare coins as tangible assets that often outperform traditional investments. When it comes to the 1993 D penny in particular, experts suggest there could be only a handful of known specimens with the specific combination of dramatic mint mark anomaly, double die features, and pristine condition that commands the million-dollar territory, and part of the thrill for collectors is that many of these coins could still be sitting in everyday change jars, coin rolls, or old collections, unnoticed by those who see them only as pocket change. This fuels the treasure hunting spirit in the coin community, leading people to search through thousands of coins in hopes of finding the elusive jackpot. What's more, the history of the Lincoln Cent series adds to the intrigue. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the coin has undergone several design changes and minting evolutions, each era bringing its own unique error varieties, and the Denver Mint itself has a long record of producing some of the most famous error coins, from overpunched mint marks to off-metal strikes, adding credibility to the idea that a 1993 D penny with such dramatic anomalies could indeed exist and fetch astronomical prices. Collectors often rely on certification from reputable grading services such as PCGS or NGC to authenticate and assign a grade to rare error coins, and in the case of a coin worth $0.90 million, professional authentication is absolutely essential, as even the smallest detail can make the difference between an ordinary penny and a life-changing discovery. The coin's provenance, or ownership history, can also play a role in boosting value, especially if it has been part of notable collections or featured in high-profile auctions. In recent years, stories of rare coins selling for incredible sums have gone viral, inspiring countless people to check their own change, and the 1993 D penny story fits perfectly into this phenomenon, because it's not an ancient coin or one struck in minuscule quantities. It's a modern piece that could theoretically be found by anyone with patience, sharp eyes, and a bit of luck, yet its rarity lies in a specific combination of factors almost impossible to replicate, and that's what makes it so valuable. As we explore the possibilities further, one could imagine scenarios where a striking press malfunctioned at just the right moment to produce a perfect storm of errors, such as a rotated die error combined with an off-center strike and a weak mint mark, or even a misaligned die that produced a doubled image on one side and a partial design on the other. Such freak occurrences are incredibly rare because quality control at the US Mint is designed to catch and remove defective coins before they enter circulation. But in the case of high-volume production, some slip through unnoticed, becoming the holy grail for collectors decades later. The appeal of coins like the 1993 D penny lies not just in their monetary value, but in the sense of mystery and history they carry. Each scratch, anomaly, or imperfection tells a story about the day it was struck, the machinery that created it, and the journey it took to reach a collector's hands. This is why coin collecting is often described as a blend of history, art, and treasure hunting, and for those lucky enough to find one of these elusive rarities, it can also be a life-changing financial windfall. The $0.90 million price tag on a coin like this may seem unbelievable to the uninitiated, but in the world of numismatics, it's a testament to the passion, dedication, and competitive spirit of collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for the rarest pieces. So next time you come across a 1993D penny, take a closer look under good lighting, check for any unusual features on the date, lettering, mint mark, or edges, weigh it to see if it matches the standard 2.5 grams, and consider having it examined by an expert, because you never know if that little coin could be the key to unlocking nearly $1 million in value. And with stories like this fueling the excitement in the coin collecting community, the legend of the 1993 D1 penny USA coin will continue to inspire searches, spark curiosity, and remind us all that even the smallest, most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary secrets and unimaginable worth. This exciting and truly fascinating deep dive into the incredible story of how a small, ordinary-looking 2012 1-penny USA coin, with a face value of just 1 cent, has turned into a jaw-dropping treasure worth an estimated $0.87 million, a transformation that seems almost unbelievable at first glance but becomes entirely possible when we uncover the astonishing details behind its rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique features that set it apart from the billions of other pennies in circulation. And today, we're going to explore every possible reason, condition, and backstory that could make such a coin command such a staggering price in the eyes of collectors, investors, and numismatists around the globe. So buckle in as we embark on this journey through minting history, coin anatomy, and the thrill of finding a hidden fortune in the most unexpected of places, because it all begins with understanding how the minting process works and how even the tiniest deviation can transform a common coin into a rare and highly sought-after collectible. The 2012 penny in question is believed to have been struck at a United States mint facility, possibly the Philadelphia or Denver Mint, and under normal circumstances, these coins would roll off the presses in perfect uniformity, bearing the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. But in this particular case, something extraordinary happened during production, something that left this coin carrying an anomaly so distinctive that experts classify it as a one-of-a-kind, or extremely low population, error coin, the kind of numismatic gem that serious collectors dream of acquiring. And such anomalies can come in many forms, from dramatic double strikes, broad strikes, off-center strikes, and die cracks to planchette errors, die clashes, missing elements, and most importantly in this coin's case, a rare and unusual mint mark error that fundamentally changes its identity. A mint mark is the small letter on a coin indicating the facility where it was produced, and while most 2012 pennies would have a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or occasionally an S for San Francisco on proof issues, this rare penny seems to display either an inverted, misplaced, doubled, or even an entirely wrong mint mark, creating a situation where the mint mark not only defies standard production patterns but also hints at a mistake in the die preparation process, something that should have been caught in quality control but somehow slipped through. And because modern minting facilities operate with extreme precision and computerized checks, the odds of such an error escaping into circulation are astronomically low, which only adds to the intrigue and value. Collectors often pay huge sums for coins with historical significance, limited mintage, or unique errors, and in this case, the combination of a modern date like 2012 and such a glaring anomaly creates an irresistible rarity that bridges the gap between modern and vintage coin collecting, appealing to a broad spectrum of enthusiasts. Some theories suggest that this coin could have been struck on a leftover blank planchette from a different denomination, or even a foreign coin blank accidentally fed into the press, which would explain slight variations in weight, thickness, or metal composition detectable only under close examination with precision scales and X-ray fluorescence analysis. And if this coin indeed shows such off-metal characteristics, that would push its rarity into an entirely different category, making it not just a mint mark error but a multiple error specimen, the kind of numismatic unicorn that auction houses love to feature as headline lots. Auction history shows us that even modern pennies with dramatic errors, such as the famous 1983 double die reverse or the 1999 wide AM cent, can fetch thousands of dollars. But when you combine a unique error with pristine or near pristine condition, possibly graded MS, 67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, you have a recipe for a coin that could shock the market with its final hammer price. And if the 2012 penny we're discussing was discovered in a fresh, uncirculated state, with full original luster and sharp details untouched by wear, that would dramatically multiply its appeal and justify the sky-high valuation of $0.87 million, especially if it comes with documented provenance tracing its discovery and verification by leading grading authorities. Part of what drives the allure of such coins is the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that in your pocket change, coin jar, or inherited collection there could be a hidden gem waiting to be recognized, and stories like this inspire both seasoned collectors and newcomers to check every penny more closely, paying attention to small details like mint marks, spacing, lettering, die polish lines, or unusual coloration, because each of these can point toward an error or variety worth investigating. In the case of this particular 2012 penny, experts analyzing high-resolution images have noted subtle irregularities in the font and placement of the mint mark, as well as potential doubling in certain letters of Liberty and the date, which could be the result of a hub doubling or mechanical doubling during production, each of which has distinct diagnostic markers and vastly different impacts on value, and if this coin indeed has a true double die element, it would further elevate its numismatic significance. Minting errors can occur in stages too, meaning a coin could have been affected by more than one anomaly in a single strike, such as being struck off-center and also on a misaligned die, creating a double rarity, and when such a combination appears on a modern coin where precision is normally near perfect, the rarity factor skyrockets. Some speculate that this 2012 penny may have been part of a limited batch produced during a transitional period in die usage, where older or test dies were mistakenly employed, possibly leaving telltale design differences visible only under magnification, like variations in the shield lines on the reverse or the texture of Lincoln's portrait. And while the average eye might miss these differences, trained collectors and grading professionals know exactly how to spot them, which is why authentication and certification play such a vital role in establishing both legitimacy and market value. Without certification, even an extraordinary error coin can struggle to achieve its potential price because buyers want assurance that the rarity is genuine. So when a coin like this is encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder with a full attribution of its error type and condition grade, it becomes far more desirable and commands premium bids at auction. And speaking of auctions, the market for rare pennies is hotter than ever, with global bidders competing online and in person for standout specimens, pushing prices to record-breaking levels, which explains how a humble penny can suddenly leap from pocket change to a nearly $1 million asset. When news of such a find spreads, it often creates a ripple effect in the numismatic world, encouraging more people to examine their own coins and increasing general interest in the hobby, which in turn drives up demand for similar items, and demand is the ultimate fuel for price appreciation. So if there's only one verified example of this 2012 penny with its specific mint mark error and possible additional anomalies, then scarcity combined with demand practically guarantees an astronomical valuation. And what's even more fascinating is imagining the coin's journey, how it was struck, how it slipped past inspectors, how it entered circulation or was perhaps pulled directly from a bankroll before anyone had a chance to spend it, and how the sharp-eyed finder recognized its uniqueness and sought expert evaluation, leading to the current buzz about its potential $0.87 million worth. This is the magic of numismatics, where history, artistry, and chance converge to create objects of desire that transcend their humble origins, reminding us that every coin has a story and sometimes that story can change lives in an instant. So as you listen to this and think about the coins you encounter every day, remember that the next extraordinary discovery could be sitting quietly in your change right now, waiting for someone with curiosity and knowledge to recognize its value, and perhaps that someone could be you. Because just like the incredible tale of the 2012 penny that defied the odds, transformed by its mint mark error, possible planchette anomaly, and other subtle mistakes into one of the most valuable modern coins known, there is always another treasure out there, ready to be uncovered by those who take the time to look closely and never underestimate the power of small details.